Hey guys, today I'm going to show you my loadout for my fall trip to Zion for large format that I'm leaving for in about a week now. I'm going to show you my system of packing everything, all my large format gear, and then I'm going to show you my lightweight digital kit. So first off, I'll start with this new backpack that I got, which is super organized for large format gear. Now before, I was using this, and this is just a regular normal backpacking backpack. And it has plenty of space and it has plenty of accommodation for your large format gear, but it is not super organized. It's basically just a sack that you stack all your gear in. So let's say you need to grab one specific thing, you have to kind of reach down through there and look for everything. When with this backpack, I have everything laid out here. If I need to put something on, I don't have to put anything on the ground. I can just put stuff back in here and grab exactly what I need. So let me show you what I got in here, and I'll start with the film holder situation. So to start with, I have these Stone Photo Gear film holders, which I actually just got in the mail today. The film holder fits super tight in here. There's no way that the dark slide's gonna come out in this thing, and it seems pretty light, tight, and pretty secure. And I've got about 4 of these with different colors so that I can kind of color code to know which film holders are which, and I've got about 4 Toyo film holders in here. But on top of that, I have these Chamonix film holders, which I also recently got. These things are really great because they're light, and the 4x5 ones, it's really easy to load film into here. And on top of that, they're lighter, but they're also thicker, so when you're putting it into the back of your camera, it's not as loose and it's not going to jiggle around as much when you're pulling out the dark slide to take a photo. So these are really nice. I think I've got it all figured out in terms of the film holders for this trip. So these are just in this little side compartment here of my bag. Next is the dark cloth. Just got a really simple little spot down here for the dark cloth. And then I have room for about 5 lenses in here. Pull these out here. Got a 90 lens. This is the biggest lens I have, and I just got it, so I'm kind of excited to use it. I think I'm going to end up using this in the narrows. This is a pretty cool lens. We got 120 lens. I'm also excited to use this one. This 120, it's basically like a mix between a normal lens and a wide lens. So it has a little bit of that, it's a bit more zoomed in, but it still has a bit of that wide feeling, like you could kind of walk into the photo, which I really like when I see it in other people's photos, so I want to try to create something like that. This is the 150, it's just a step above that. This is the classic normal lens. If you just want a straight normal lens and you're just getting into large format, this 150 is probably what's best. It's probably going to give you the best focal length. Here's my other wide lens, not quite as big as the 90mm, it's a 75. What I've discovered with this so far is that it has a lot of light fall off at the corners of the image, and there's a little bit of a vignette effect that you get in the corner of your image. And it's not too terrible, and you know, we always end up going back and adding a vignette and editing sometimes, so it can be nice, especially for wide angle shots. Then I have my 210 Cinar. This is the lens I've had since I started. I wouldn't recommend a 210 for a normal lens. I'd recommend the 150, by the way. Let's see, the last thing I got in here is my Sekonic. I think this is called a 758, L758 Sekonic. This thing is super easy to use. All you gotta do is average, or memory, average your shadows and your highlights, gives you the average, shows you a little scale with all the zones on it, so you can see exactly how many stops of range there are in the scene and everything like that, and you can make your decisions based off of that. So this is like a really great light meter. It is a bit more on the expensive side though, if you're just getting into large format, but it is still pretty nice. I also got some cable releases. Super cheap. I haven't invested in a good cable release yet, which I should probably do. I have like 3 of these though, so that they don't really fail in the field. Not exactly sure what I'm going to put these yet. And then here, got the main camera, sits right in the middle, sits nice and snug, and it's the heaviest part, which is nice. It's a good place to put the heaviest part of your kit in. This is my Shenhao. I've had this for a while. Super sturdy and reliable. It's a bit on the heavier side, and this one, the front standard kind of slides out on a rail. But I also have this Chamonix, which is a really nice lightweight alternative. It's super easy to set up. All the front standard and back standard movements are super easy and simple. This one, there's a little knob that you screw in to establish how far out the bellows are going to go. This one's a really nice option. It's also bright on the back because I've got this Fresnel ground glass on it. So if I'm in the Narrows where it's kind of dark or where I'm on a really long hike, I think this is going to be what I go with for Zion. So that is the main gear. There's also this little part here. This can just hold a few little tiny things like focusing loops. This is perfect for focusing loops. This can either go up here, but I'm going to be putting it right up here, and it fits perfectly up there. So let me zip this up, and I'll take these out first. Let me zip this up. I'll put it on, and I'll show you what it looks like. So as you can see, it's pretty comfortable. It's got a belt so that you have more of that weight sitting on your hips. It's not nearly as much of a support system as a regular backpacking backpack, but for a camera bag that is just specifically for photo gear, it's not bad. You can see it looks pretty nice, and it feels really nice, and it's going to be great for being in the field. I'm just going to put this down. Got a couple other bigger pieces of Bane kit. This is, I believe, the medium-sized Harrison film changing tent. If you're doing 4x5, you can get like a film changing bag too. The film changing tent is really nice for having a lot of space though. Super well built. You don't feel like there could be any really sort of light leak with it. And then if you're doing 8x10, I think most people who do 8x10 just get like the large version of this because 8x10 is so big. And then here's the final piece for Zion. Pretty specific to, I guess, canyons. I'm going to be walking through the Narrows, and the water does get pretty cold in the fall, so I've got this these dry pants to keep me warm, keep me from getting hypothermia. Most people rent these, but I just decided to buy some because I don't feel like dealing with all that, especially with what's going on these days. Alright, I'm in my living room now with the last big piece of kit. I am wearing my dry pants right now as well. I was actually going to wait to get my gaiters in the mail to film this part of the video. The gaiters are basically what connects to this puffy part of my pants down to my boots to make sure that everything is nice and tight so I don't get my pants caught in the gears of my bike while I'm biking through the main canyon. So the reason I have the bike this year is because the shuttle system in Zion currently requires that you get tickets. And that combined with having to pack on the bus with a bunch of people is just kind of the last thing that I want to do. It's also already too late for me to get the tickets. So biking is basically how I'm going to get around the main canyon and explore the main canyon, and it's how I'm going to get to the Narrows. And what's nice about that is I can get into the Narrows a lot earlier than the shuttles, and I can have more time to set up my shots. And then if I'm biking through the main canyon and I see something I want to photograph, I don't have to ride the bus and get off at a certain stop. I can just literally stop my bike and lock it up somewhere and go where I want to go, which is really nice. So this is a Diamondback mountain bike. I've had this thing for so many years. I've used it plenty, and I think mountain bike is probably the way to go for this system, just because if you have a road bike and there are shuttles coming, you might have to pull off the side of the road, and that might be a little trickier to do with a road bike. All right, so I'm going to take you into the other room now, show you my lightweight video kit. All right, here's my first new piece of lightweight video kit. This is called the Tamrac Zip Shot. They don't make these anymore. You have to buy it used, but it was only about $30 or $40 used. So this thing is super light. It's made out of tent poles basically, and I'll just demonstrate for you how quick it is to set up. So you can see it doesn't have a lot of adjustability. It is a little bendy. And one concern might be that it's a bit too shaky, especially if you have windy conditions, but I actually took it out and tested it in windy conditions. And aside from pressing the record button on my video camera, there was pretty much no shake from the wind. So this is going to be super nice for when I want to set up and talk to the camera. For all the other stuff, I will just carry my camera around on my big tripod and film B-roll with it. And then when I have to set up my large format gear, I can just whip this out to talk to the camera. Alright, here's the camera that this whole video has been filmed on so far. This is the X-T30 by Fujifilm. It's a 4K camera, it's super light. The lens and the camera combined are only like 2 or 2.5 pounds. And it's super lightweight. It eliminates like a lot of the top heaviness that I had when I would film with the D810. And the video quality of this and the picture quality right out of the camera is just so nice. The colors looked really beautiful and soft. And it does have a lot more dynamic range. And the automatic capabilities of this is really good. So for filming quick shots, this is going to be really awesome. And you've seen what the picture quality looks like, and I'm sure you noticed a difference when I switched to the Nikon D810. So that's going to wrap it up for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and maybe it gave you some ideas for how you can change your loadout for large format or for digital photography. I'm going to see you guys in a few weeks in Zion, so have a good day.